is Logan and I'm your host, the Mighty Pirate. In today's video, I'm going over Protomechs. My sources for today's video are Technical Readout 3060 and of course Sarna.net. In the steaming jungles of Huntress, the troops of Task Force Serpent ran afoul of a new and completely unexpected piece of clan technology. The lightweight, agile mech predators that the Inner Sphere troops later learned were called Protomechs. Darting in and out of cover, these half-sized mechs made short work of their surprised opponents before fading into the jungle. The defeat of Clan Smoke Jaguar has given the Inner Sphere a chance to analyze captured data and learn some of the history and capabilities of these unfamiliar machines. Soon enough, the armies of the other clans will obtain Protomech technology, and the Inner Sphere must be prepared to fight them. In the months following the Battle of Tukid, Clan Smoke Jaguar faced a serious problem. They had carved their entire Inner Sphere occupation zone from the Draconis Combine, a nation of fierce warriors whose doctrine of Bushido made them tough, resilient enemies. The Jaguars found themselves constantly harassed by civilians and Combine troops, whose complex system of honor prevented them from accepting defeat. Guerrilla uprisings and raids left the Jaguars stretched to the limit in Battletech resources. This was not the first time the Jaguars had been hard-pressed for material. In the later part of the 30th century, Smoke Jaguar scientists admitted that their clan worlds would soon be barren of ores needed to produce new Battlemechs, and the imminent invasion of the Inner Sphere meant that they needed to find an innovative solution or be left behind. The clan's top scientists began working on a bold, new battlefield unit design that would combine aspects of the Battlemech with the highly successful elemental battle armor. Standing at only half the height of a Battlemech, these new units would mass roughly 1/10 of the weight of the larger machines, and so use 1/10 of the carbon alloy, monomer, and other rare construction materials. Their tiny engines would further slash the production costs, allowing the clans to make more of them while using less material. The goal was for a point of 5 of these so-called Protomechs working in unison like a point of battle armor to be as effective as a single Battlemech, while requiring less than half the amount of construction material. At the same time the new machines were being developed, Jaguar geneticists began the task of creating suitable pilots. Quite the opposite of the massive elementals, this new breed would need to be smaller than even aerospace pilots in order to fit into the cramped confines of a Protomech torso. Acknowledging the radical nature of their research, the scientists began working on their concept without informing the cons of their plan. The scientists knew that the new units would have to be proven in battle before the cons would even consider them for full-scale production. That meant years of secret work before the plan could be revealed. Indeed, decades of research and dozens of prototypes later, the scientists still lacked the proven results. The machines were too small for a proper cockpit, and the genetic experimentation proved unable to produce a new viable breed suitable for piloting the Protomechs. The technological advance that finally made the Protomech viable was the advent of enhanced imaging, or EI. Around the time of Operation Revival, clan scientists had developed the EI system to enhance the link between a mech warrior elemental and his machine, improving reaction time and firing accuracy. This advance came with a steep price. To make full use of the system, the pilot had to be surgically fitted with an extensive array of electronic implants, visible near the surface of the skin as soft luminous tattoos. These implants have a gradual degenerative effect on the nervous system of the subject, so that after an extended period of time, usually 1 to 5 years, the subject becomes unstable, often paranoid. The implants can even cause death or a catatonic state, though such cases remain rare. Because of the dangers involved, only the most aggressive Crusader warriors make use of EI technology, and most of these become quickly addicted to the drugs administered to fight off the debilitating effects of EI tattoos. Despite these drawbacks, none can dispute the awesome battlefield prowess of these warriors, and so the practice continues with the silent approval of the Grand Council, which normally frowns on artificial enhancements. Further refinement on the system was necessary, but the basic concept of EI was the groundwork the Jaguar scientists needed for controlling the Protomechs. Giving the pilot direct neural control of the proto eliminated the need for a gyroscope and a full-sized cockpit. This created all the necessary space to place the pilot in the torso with room enough for weapon systems as well. Though enhanced imaging successfully defeated the mechanical challenges of the Protomech, the genetic challenges were less easy to overcome. Unable to create a viable new breed of warriors, Clan Smoke Jaguar was left with no pilots for their new machines except for volunteer aerospace pilots who had failed the test into the warrior caste. This temporary compromise proved also to be the solution to the problem. Though few clans will admit it, the clan's attempt to breed aerospace pilots has basically failed to achieve its goal. Bred for sharp senses, enhanced reaction times, and a natural resistance to high G maneuvers, aerospace pilots are perhaps the most extreme example of clan genetic engineering. The breeding for these traits has resulted in a people who are almost comically small and thin, but with enlarged heads and eyes as a side effect of their positive traits. In fact, despite all the effort put into selective breeding and intensive training, clan pilots have proven inferior to their inner sphere counterparts. This sad fact was not lost on the Protomech designers, who saw an opportunity in the increasing numbers of washed-up aerospace pilots who were relegated to lower castes. For several years, pilots who tested out of the Jaguar warrior caste were appropriated by the Protomech project under the cover story of testing new fighters. These pilots were then given the chance to serve their clans as warriors. Aerospace pilots have many characteristics that suit them to the task of piloting Protomechs. They are small and wiry, allowing them to fit into the cramped Protomech cockpit. Their brains and circulatory systems are bred to withstand the pressure of high G maneuvering, which coincidentally gives them increased resistance to the negative side effects of the direct neural interface that drives the Protomech. When piloting the Protomech, the pilot feels as though the proto is his own body. He sees through the Protomech's external sensors. When he wills his body to move, the proto moves instead, his actual body flexing unconsciously in response to the commands. The pilot is only vaguely aware of his physical body curled in the fetal position in the chest of the mech. The muscular stress of this activity is quite high, and combined with the bumpy ride provided by the typical Protomech's lumbering trot, the pilot must withstand considerable punishment in the cockpit. The sympathic bond between man and machine can lead to a kind of God complex in which the pilot feels as though he is unstoppable. He is reluctant to leave his machine and may even start to believe that the Protomech is his own body. Fortunately, the members of the Protomech Point are a tightly knitted team, and the other members of the Point can usually control this kind of behavior before it becomes a problem. In and out of the cockpit, the members of the Point stick together and are virtually inseparable. Pilots assigned to the Protomech duty carry the distinctive EI tattoos all over their bodies. To condition themselves for the rigors of the Protomech cockpit, the pilots must exercise constantly. For this reason, they are generally quite muscular compared to their aerospace kin and are often in good health. A typical Protomech stands 4 to 6 meters tall and masses 2 to 9 tons. The pilot rides in a small compartment in the upper chest of the proto, just below the neck. The rest of the torso contains the engine, weapons, and motive systems. Larger than a battle armor suit, but smaller than a battle mech, a Protomech has abilities in common with both types of unit. Their small stature means they can hide where battle mechs cannot, and they can even move through buildings without causing excessive collateral damage. Though tiny compared to even the smallest battle mech, each Protomech can carry an impressive arsenal of weapons, and because they operate in points of 5, their coordinated fire compensates for each proto's individual shortcomings. The pilot controls the Protomech through a direct neural interface as though it were his own body. Therefore, all Protomech designs are fairly humanoid. To supplement their firepower, Protomechs often carry large handheld weapons called main guns. These weapons are braced to the torso but fired with both hands, allowing the pilot to accurately control the weapon, as though he were firing a large machine gun by hand. Because the weapon fires in such a similar manner to infantry weapons, Protomech pilots enjoy a significant advantage in training and combat accuracy. While both Battletech and Protomech pilots must learn to accurately fire their weapons directly mounted on their body, which is not a natural state of affairs. Protomechs wield the main gun almost as easily as a person uses a handgun or rifle, allowing for a more flexible firing arc. At the time of the Battle for Huntress, only Clan Smoke Jaguar had access to Protomech technology. Ilkon Lincoln Osis learned of their existence only after that battle, at which point his outrage at the lengthy secret project was tempered by his clan's desperate situation, as well as the Proto's solid performance against stiff odds. In the desperate fighting on Huntress, the Jaguars used Protomechs to deadly effect despite the Jaguars' ultimate defeat, giving these radical new machines a stunning debut the other clans could hardly ignore. Certainly, Protomech technology will eventually make its way into the hands of the other clans. The Crusader clans are the most likely to field them first because their warriors are more likely to submit to the enhanced imaging surgery in service to their clan. Analysts feel confident that the Inner Sphere will not adopt this new technology. Primarily, they lack both the aerospace pilot breed and the EI technology necessary to control the machines. Even if the Inner Sphere had access to these technologies, the invasive surgery required to use the enhanced imaging would make it unlikely they would find a sufficient number of volunteers to make the effort worthwhile, unless, of course, it was the word of Blake. But that is a story for another time. That will conclude my video on the Protomech. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I look forward to making the next one. See you on the battlefield.